Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, National Judicial Council recalls 6 of the 8 judges suspended over allegations of corruption. Doctors at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital and the hospital management trade words over lingering crisis over doctors' welfare. Management open to constructive dialogue. Benue State Independent Electoral Commission excludes the McAfee-led faction of the PDP from state local council polls. And 12 people killed, dozens injured as explosions ripped through a funeral in Kabul.
On Business News tonight, industrialists prioritize research and development to reduce reliance on importation and ease demand for foreign exchange.
On Sports News tonight, UEFA Champions League winners emerge as Real Madrid for the 12th time.
7 months after 8 judges were suspended, the National Judicial Council has directed 6 of them, including Justice Adenike Ademola, to resume duty as judicial officers effective Wednesday, June 7, 2017. This decision followed a meeting of the NJC to review the suspension of the said judges after a raid of their residence by the Department of State Services. The Council noted that out of the 8 suspended judicial officers, only 3 have been charged to court. They are Justice Sylvester Nguta of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, Justice Adeni Ademola of the Federal High Court, and Justice Rita Ofili Ajumogobia of the Federal High Court. The Council also noted that the trial of Justice Ademola has been concluded and he has been discharged and acquitted of the charges filed against him. In view of that, the Council decided that the various heads of courts should direct the other judicial officers to resume their judicial duties, as there are already a backlog of cases in various courts for the past 8 months. A few days after the management of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital locked their resident doctors out of their secretariat, the physicians have taken to the grounds in a peaceful protest. The doctors, who were joined by other staff of the hospital, reiterated their complaints of substandard conditions, unpaid settlements, and others. Our correspondent Mary Alale Yusuf reports.
A few days ago, it was a free-for-all on the marble floor of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital over the authorities' locking of the Association of Resident Doctors Secretariat with the intention to repossess it. Today, the resident doctors have a follow-up meeting, but this time they are joined by nurses and other youth workers, as well as some national representatives and union workers. They go spiritual in their chants and songs, holding up the placards that have become a common sight in the past week, demanding payment of outstanding salaries and allowances and better conditions of service.
Facilities and equipment have been allowed to rot in loot, and to the extent that the hospital has now become unsafe for members of the public. And we are saying this is unacceptable. We are saying that if you go to the intensive care units now, they are vastly inadequate mechanical ventilators. What this means is that there is no facility for life supporting.
We have tried every available means on finding solution to the problem in loot, but the management refused to see reason why that law should be the solution. To this extent, our national and state leaders have even been to these premises in order to see him and to dialogue with him, but he refused bluntly.
Staff of the institution insists they are ready to work if only adequate and functioning equipment is available. They also say they are open to peaceful dialogue. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Chief Medical Director of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Professor Chris Bode, has said that contrary to claims of resident doctors that facilities in the hospital are run down, the institution has made improvements and is adding on new infrastructure. He also pointed out that management is open for constructive dialogue. Professor Bode was speaking on our weekend breakfast show, Sunrise.
So many other facilities are on. The independent power project in Luth, which will give us uninterrupted power, will be up by God's grace by August this year. These are things we are celebrating. A water supply project in Luth, which had been abandoned for about 12 years, can supply 40,000 gallons of water in an hour. We've rehabilitated it, it's working now. We have also tried to engage them through others they listen to, but you need to have, when you have young people you want to talk to, they need to have people they listen to. They need to have mentors, people they look up to. It's dangerous for a country when your youth have nobody they look up to. I feel a bit disappointed when the leadership, national leadership of that group came and spoke to them at length, apologized on their behalf, and we thought everything was over. And the following day they went going dancing around again. We are still hoping they will come to the dialogue table.
In other news, the federal government says it will not pull out of the Paris Agreement, which is seen as a turning point for global climate change policy. The Minister of State for Environment, Ibrahim Jibrin, says Nigeria entered into the Paris Agreement as a sovereign state, hence will remain committed to its provisions, taking into account its national circumstances and interests. Our correspondent, Narela Sisi, has this report.
In the agreement could also pose serious obstacles for the United States as we begin the process of unlocking the restrictions on America's abundant energy reserves, which we have started.
On Thursday, the 1st of June 2017, United States President Donald Trump announced that the country is withdrawing from the Paris Agreement, an agreement between 195 countries on a global response to the effects of climate change.
Merci and thank you.
According to the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Climate Change and the country representative of the World Council for Renewable Energy, the position of the United States President is unfortunate.
The United States is second emitter of pollution, second greatest polluter in the world. And whatever emissions they generate in the United States do not stay within the United States alone. It goes beyond their continent to other continents.
You have somebody who caused the problem backing out of the arrangement that would bring a solution to the problem. And this will be at a great cost to Africa and the rest of the developing countries and least developing countries.
For the Nigerian government, the announcement will not affect Nigeria's position on the agreement, even as it appears to be having what some see as a positive effect.
Nigeria will not pull out of this agreement because we know the importance of it, and we're on it voluntarily as a sovereign nation. We've just, like I said, 2 months ago, signed the ratification instrument and deposited it in the United Nations. So we're committed to the Paris Agreement.
That decision, the unintended consequences of that is that it has stimulated and mobilized, strengthened the resolve of the international community, especially China and the European Union and Canada.
A legislation on climate change which seeks to provide a legal framework on climate change to coordinate all efforts, strategies and programs of government recently passed second reading in the House of Representatives. Will this development affect the bill?
Confidently. It will not affect the progress of the bill or its receiving assent in any way. We are progressing steadily and rapidly with the bill. Because on our own side, we're even thinking that we have been outpaced by our peers. So this is not enough to deter us.
The world will, however, be watching to see how other countries react, as many see the Paris Agreement as a bold response in saving the earth from years of devastation. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
And in continuation of activities marking the second anniversary of his administration, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has commissioned 12 internal roads in Asaba to decongest traffic and boost economic activities in the state capital and its environs. The governor also inspected ongoing projects in the state.
This is the kind of gridlock motorists bear on a daily basis on NJC Road, Asaba. With the construction of adjoining roads, better days may just be ahead for these motorists. About 12 adjoining streets and roads were commissioned by Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. They include Isioma Onyobi Way, Stadium Road, Capwire Road, Odiachi Street, Benue Street, Obi Okolotu Anthony Street, Anaonye Street, Governor Street, and Ojife Streets. Others are Moloko Street, Nduka Iloba Street, and Kasloba Crescent. The roads, designed with drains and walkways, are meant to decongest traffic on the ever-busy NJC Road. Earlier, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa and his entourage paid a visit to the Asaba of Asaba, His Royal Majesty Professor Chike Edozien.
As a government, we did feel that we needed to actually attend first to the roads in the traditional Asaba. Because if we continue to develop what we call the GRA areas, the government reservation areas, it will be an unfair treatment on the people who actually own the land. And we decided to actually concentrate first.
The governor also inspected the ongoing construction of Central Hospital, which has been on since 2006. Governor Okowa engaged the contractor on the extent of work done.
We know that the Federal Medical Center is there, that's owned by the federal government, and it's definitely under pressure. The Okwe Hospital is quite small and therefore cannot be a supplement. So this actually is going to provide all-round services, and because too, the central hospitals provide much cheaper medical facilities for people. We believe that this is going to serve the poorer segment of the society, and we know that the majority of our people are still poor.
The Central Hospital is expected to be completed soon and commence operations by the end of 2017.
The Benue State Independent Electoral Commission has excluded the Makarfi-led faction of the PDP from council polls, a move which the APC says makes the exercise less competitive. BCX says its decision is based on the recognition of Ali Modu Sheriff by the Court of Appeal as the PDP national chairman. In the meantime, Governor Samuel Otom has applauded the peaceful conduct of electorates across the state. Local elections were last held there in 2012.
As a law-abiding citizen and as one who is committed to the rule of law and due process for my state and country, Nigeria, I want to ensure that the democratic structures in Benue State are very strong. And this informed me and my council and the entire people of Benue State to conduct this election. Well, I'm aware that about 8 political parties are contesting this election. So it does not matter. PDP is not an issue. Their internal wrangling has nothing to do with the election. And they are free. And I'm aware that the PDP also fielded candidates in this election and is going on. So that is their own internal thing. And that was why some of us had to leave the party, because the party is not organized and I can't see it standing anywhere. In any case, whichever faction that fielded candidate, we were ready to contend with it.
In part 2, after the break, Nigeria Customs Service hands over 2 sports utility vehicles suspected to have been stolen from the United States to the International Police Organization. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.